This episode of Up to Speed is brought to you by Squarespace. It's not a car. It's not a truck. It's not just another 4x4. It's a wolf in wolf's clothing. It's a tank in the form of a car, in the form of a tank. It can drive over anything, up anything, and through anything. It wasn't meant for us. It was built for war. I don't care what you drive, dog. It's bigger, it's tougher, and the only reason that we're allowed to buy one is because the Terminator said so. This is everything you need to know to get up to speed on the Hummer. In the early 80s, the American military was bidding for a new transport vehicle that could carry troops and heavy cargo anywhere. In other words, they needed a high mobility, multi-purpose wheeled vehicle, or HMMWV. How am I saying this wrong? What? HMMWV? The HMMWV. The winning bid went to AM General Corporation, which created a machine that had the raw presence of a nuclear blast. It could transport heavy equipment through the worst terrain. It could cross rivers and get up and over slopes that would stop basically anything else. It had a switch that could inflate or deflate the tires on the go, and its axle track was designed to be so wide that it could slip into the tracks left by tanks. Tanks! Plus, it could be dropped out of a plane wearing its own friggin' parachute. AM General was awarded a $1 billion contract to mass produce the Humvee to the US military. And by the late 80s, they were in the field. They called it the Humvee because that was easier to say than Humvee. And it accompanied American troops during the invasion of Panama in 1989 and during the Gulf War in 1991. The Humvee was adapted for all sorts of roles. Ambulance, communication station, and my personal favorite, frickin' rocket launcher. Let me make one thing abundantly, crystally clear. The Humvee was a military vehicle designed for the military for military use. It's like a Black Hawk helicopter or an aircraft carrier, an F-18 Super Hornet. The Hummer was never ever intended for ordinary people or ordinary roads. But there's one thing that the US military never saw coming. Arnold friggin' Schwarzenegger! It's 1990. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the biggest action movie star in the world. And not just physically, but physically too. While taking a break from shooting the classic kindergarten cop, "Are you eating all the people's sandwiches? Stop it! Stop it!" And somehow, like, Arnold's like, I'm in this situation now. I love your mom and I'm your kindergarten teacher. Time to karate battle your mom's boyfriend. My mom had some boyfriends, and I wish there was an Arnold to kick the shit out of them. Luckily, now I'm the Arnold, so I'll buy you a plane ticket, Steve. I will fly you to LA to kick your ass. Steve's a real guy. Steve, I hate you. Arnold met his spirit animal as he saw a convoy of Hummers passing him on the road. It was love at first sight. He was like, yo, what is that big ass flat looking Jeep? That's like the perfect car for me. Can I get one? Yo, are you Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah, I am. Listen, man, I'm stoked that you like my car and all, but you can't buy one of these because it's for military use only. I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can have whatever I want. AM had already kicked around the idea of a civilian model, but with the Terminator's backing, they bumped it up to the top of their priority list. In 1992, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Olympia, received the very first civilian version branded the Hummer. Of course, as a civilian model, this one didn't have any rocket launchers on it.
Ah, there's no rocket. They forgot to put the rocket in there, dude. I'm so sorry.
But it was more or less the same overall design. So it could still drive up, over, and through anything. It could still inflate or deflate its tires on the go. And it was still really, really, really big. Just like my dad. Remember, at this time, movie heroes are enormous hulks of muscle. The Soviet Union had just collapsed and America was freaking stoked. Gas prices were cheap. In other words, subtlety and and restraint were not words in our national vocabulary. America wanted big, they wanted bold, they wanted a Hummer. Who cared if it weighed 10,000 pounds and gets 10 miles to the gallon? Literally. In fact, in a very real sense, that was the entire point. It cost about 50 grand and barely squeezed into most garages. The Hummer was not expected to be a mass market car. And that too became a part of the appeal. A Hummer badge was like a Ferrari badge. If you had one, it meant you had money and you weren't afraid to spend it. It was drivable bling. By the late 90s, it had become a celebrity hallmark. Everybody from Coolio, Ted Turner, Tom Clancy, Andre Agassi, the four coolest, most famous dudes ever, all drove Hummers. The Hummer was a metaphor for America in the 90s. Enormous, expensive, rugged, unstoppable, gas-guzzling, decadent, and in your freaking face. And as you can imagine, not all of those went over very well. The Hummer became a symbol for excess and egotism, and environmentalists absolutely hated its fuel consumption. Still, whether respected or reviled, there aren't many cars that have caused such strong reactions from so many people so quickly. That was the sheer presence of the Hummer. In 1999, GM bought the rights to Hummer off of AM General, where AM General put their military machine into the hands of an exclusive few. GM wanted the Hummer to become a true mass market brand. The result came in 2002 with the release of the car's baby brother, the H2. This model of Hummer was lithe and toned instead of muscle-bound and bulky, weighing in at a dainty 8,600 pounds. Never one to miss a sequel, Schwarzenegger was personally involved in the development of the H2. As much as he loved the raw size of the original, he wanted the H2 to be a bit more manageable on the road and also compete as a modern luxury car. People bought them in droves. Again, the gas-guzzling thing led to a backlash from environmentalists, and some of them got pretty crazy about it. In 2003, 40 Hummer H2s were set ablaze at a dealership in California in an eco-terrorist attack carried out by the Earth Liberation Front. More seriously and sadly, these weren't the only terrorists the car was facing. The original military Humvee was now deployed in wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and believe it or not, for all of its incredible ruggedness, the Humvee was never designed to be shot at. As IEDs became more and more common in war zones, the lightly armored Humvees just weren't able to protect their occupants. The Pentagon began shopping around for a new transport vehicle, and the Humvee was relegated to backline duty. Back home, people began shopping around for new models too. Rising gas prices and increasing environmental awareness both cut into the Hummer brand deeply. The heady days of 90s excess were a distant memory, and the Hummer now looked gaudy where it had once looked gaudy but in a good way. Plus, with two wars dragging on, military chic is just sort of douchey.
Yeah, so?
General Motors tried to save the brand with the release of the H3 in 2005, the smallest Hummer model ever, weighing in at 5,800 pounds. The smallest one was 3 tons. And GM increased the fuel economy to a whopping 16 miles per gallon. Hummer also tries to prove that their cars are for more than just big dudes by making ads for women too. But it was just too little too late. And in 2009, the global financial meltdown makes any kind of luxury spending uncool. Plus, it bankrupts General Motors. As part of GM's Chapter 11 restructuring, they tried to spin off the Hummer brand to a new owner, and they actually found an interested party in rural China. Unfortunately, the Chinese government stepped in and killed the deal. China was in the process of cleaning up its environmental image, and purchasing the most polluting car brand in the world ever didn't exactly fit with that ideal. Out of options, General Motors shut down Hummer for good. In the end, the Hummer was about pure presence. Nothing looked like it. Nothing towered over traffic like it. It was a statement with four-wheel drive. It was a car that said, I am huge and I like huge things. Jessica. It served America and its allies in wartime, and at home, it was a symbol of luxury whose excess would be its own undoing. The Hummer is a visual icon like almost no other vehicle has ever been. It's not a car. It's not a truck. It's not just another 4x4. It's a Hummer.
This episode of Up to Speed is brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you need a domain, website, or online store, make it with Squarespace. If you don't have a website in this day and age, you are playing yourself. Don't play yourself, get a website. The easiest way to do that is with Squarespace, using their amazing templates. You can create a beautiful website with their all-in-one platform. You don't have to install anything on your computer even. You never have to upgrade. It's not annoying. They even have 24/7 customer service. Already have a website? Well, Squarespace makes it easy to transfer your existing domain so you don't have to give up, hey, why did that barber in New York shave my eyebrows off.com. You can just move it on over to Squarespace and make it even better. You can also use Squarespace to sell products online and manage your inventory easily. So go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/donutmedia to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Or you can just click on the link below. Get a website, you freaking moron. Support Squarespace because Squarespace supports us. If you make a website, I'll go to it. I'll make a t-shirt of it and wear it.
This is everything you need to know to get up to speed on the Hummer. What's your favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? Do you guys think I should get super buff? What's the biggest car you've ever owned? Follow me on Instagram at James Pumphrey. Follow Donut on Instagram at Donut Media. We got merch, shop.donut.media.